the applause go until I actually got to the point, but they're off, look. That's nice, isn't it? Well, absolutely, and we'll just wait for these two to finish their fucking conversation.
What have you done to Keith?
So you come in late, disrupt the place, you force two people to leave, you have a chat with the MC, and then you sit at the front and upset the dog. So this is fucking bizarre, I've got to be honest. And I'm going to go home and, like, tonight back to Gloucester, and I've got to be honest, I thought we were weird, but this is something else, to be quite honest with you, because we've got a very young Nicholas Linter sat here, guarding the door. We've got the musicians who've decided to leave because they're outed by somebody who basically puts records on for a living for all his life. And we've got the combined cast of Last of the Summer Wine sat there as well. So that's nice. I think you lot, no, you're fine, and you're the landlady, so I'm not going to upset you. You two have been sat there with your nervous rescue reactive dog that you've got muzzled, that can't be petted, that is clearly just winding that other little fucker up, isn't he? And you've got a Patterdale Cross Jack Russell up there who is heckling me from afar whilst led on the floor, and its little lipstick pointing axe, it wants to fuck your dog. And this is a comedy night. Don't worry. And it's, yeah, I mean, and this is, to be honest, I had, because I like to do some research on the locality, and you've got quite a bit of history. Kidderminster, I don't know, you may know this. Do you know when Kidderminster was the first settlement in Kidderminster? No. It was a little bit later than that, it was 8:45. 781. You were close. Anglo-Saxon tribe called the Husari. And looking around the room, I think there's some people left over from that that period of time. And it's you're a big carpet manufacturer, weren't you? Huge carpet manufacturer. Obviously, until you had the rug pulled from under it. That's the best carpet joke I could come up with. And you've got some famous personalities from Kidderminster. Rusty Lee. Did you know that? Did you? Does she? Brilliant. The dog's not impressed, is he? Would you say? James O'Brien on LBC, and Robert Plant came from Kidderminster apparently. And then I was looking up, if I was going to come to Kidderminster for a day out, what could I do? Not a lot. There's only two main attractions from what I could see. The steam railway, is that still operational?
Yeah.
And the carpet museum.
And the fucker with the stamps.
The fucker with the stamps? Who's that?
Yeah, you know, the...
Penny Black bloke.
Penny Black bloke, yeah. He got a big concrete statue around.
Yeah, but that's not really a place of interest, is it?
Rolling Hill.
Rolling Hill.
Rolling Hill. There's a shopping centre named after him.
All the things you learn when you do stand-up. And I was really looking forward to coming to Kidderminster tonight. Until I looked at your crime statistics. The most violent, medium-sized town in the whole of Worcestershire. Did you know that? Your crime rate is 35% higher than the rest of Worcestershire.
No, pretty much the whole country, actually.
It is, yeah. You're not far off. And there was 3 places they said to avoid going. Do you know what the main place to avoid going was? The fucking town centre. And where are we? I mean, is this the town centre? Kind of. You can't get any closer. No, this is about it, isn't it? And drugs, violence and sexual offences, that's the top 3 crimes. So, and apparently 1 in 100 of you will commit a crime. So I just did a quick recce, and I reckon I've got a 7.48% chance of being given cocaine, being mugged and being buggered by the time I get back to my car.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. That's great. It's bloody great. So I basically do comedy as therapy because I retired back in March, and I've now spent just coming up to 6 months of 24/7 with my wife. Oh. Has anybody else gone through that? No, because none of you know it, do you? Obviously. And we've just got to that irritating stage. You know, I mean, it's nothing really major, just the little things. The breathing. And if we're going out for the day, we'll be coming up to a T-junction, and if I want to turn right, say, is it all right to turn right? She'll go, yeah. And as I'm pulling out and I'm halfway across the road, as long as you're quick. Right, you don't want to hear that shit, do you? And she hasn't worked out. She's in the passenger seat, so she's the one that's going to get absolutely mullered. But I did, last year I did I went to the Leicester Comedy Festival and I entered the Silver Stand-Up competition and I won it, right? I was really chuffed. And it's a competition aimed over the 55s. You've got to send a video in, and if you get through, you do a heat. And I got through the heat, and I got through to the final, and I won, and it was brilliant. There's no, there was no upper age limit. Right? Backstage, it was like God's waiting room for comedians. There was one act, I was just about to go on, and he was sat in his chair, slumped, with his eyes closed, and we were looking at him thinking, is he asleep or is he dead? And somebody said, well, do you think we should wake him? Nah, fuck it, it'll increase our chances. So I went on and did my 5 minutes, and I said, I won. And I got on the phone to my wife. I said, you'll never guess, after 4 years of trying for this competition, I've only gone one. And she's like, oh, that's fantastic. What have you won? Because obviously I'm married to somebody from Mumbai. I said, I've won a trophy. Right. Anything else? No, just a trophy. So 2 hours later, I'm back showing her the trophy in the living room. She's like, that's very nice, but I'm going to ask you again, have you won anything else? No, I've told you, I've just won the trophy. Because I've been on the website, I think, oh shit, I did. What about the £500 cash prize they were advertising? I was gutted, right, because I had that lined up for something special. She said, what have I told you all through our marriage? God be honest, there's been so many fucking things it's hard to remember. She said, never ever lie. And she's right, of course, you shouldn't lie in a relationship or in a marriage. She went on a cruise last April. She went away for a week. She phoned me on the Wednesday. You alright? I said, yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Are you missing me? I remember what she said, never lie. She was like, absolutely not. She started clutching at straws. Well, I bet the dog's missing me. He wasn't. Me and him, we were having a fantastic time. He was sleeping on my bed. I was feeding him from the table. We were down the pub. We went and got tattoos. Well, I did. And I know he can't speak, but on the Thursday, he was just sat there looking at me, and I knew what he was saying. He was like, oh, Dad, this is fantastic, isn't it? Just you and me. Mm-hmm. Should we just move and not tell her? I said, no, we can't do that, mate. We're stuck with her. She is coming back. But we did dry January, the start of this year. We still drank, just no sex. It was her fault, because before Christmas, she said, look, we've been married 23 years. You don't need to buy me a present. So I didn't. So that's fair enough. What? Ladies seem horrified by that. Would you be offended if you told him not to buy you a present and he didn't? You would. Well, why would you say it in the first place? We celebrated Valentine's Day, and I did the romantic thing. I phoned the florist, said, "Call some flowers." Yeah. Would you like a card? I said, yeah, go on, I'll have a card. She said, what do you want on the card? I said, I'll just put to Lynn, all my love, Nick. And then she said, would you like a kiss on the bottom? I was like, brilliant. I could probably get there for 3. And she was like, no, I meant on the bottom of the card. I went, yeah, I know. I'm a comedian, I was just making a joke. And quick as a flash, she came back with I bet you don't get many gigs, which I thought was a little bit harsh. We did. We celebrated Valentine's Day at home, and we were sat there just having a meal. And Lynn said, can you remember how we first met all those years ago? Vaguely. So, well, you had an advert in the Lonely Hearts column because you just got divorced. In fact, you had 2, but I only applied to 1. I said, well, why was that? She said, well, on the second one, you put your height. Right? I didn't know she had an issue with my height. I should have realised, because about a week after we got together, I suggested going to Alton Towers for the day. And she's like, what's the point you going? Harsh, isn't it? And after we were married, I came home, we sat down again having a meal. She said, can I ask you a question? Yeah, go on. How would you feel about being only 9 inches taller than the largest emperor penguin ever recorded? So, where did that come from? She said, I was bored, I just Googled it. I didn't mind so much, but she worked in a school at the time, and I used to go and have a coffee with her. And I went in this one day, and the teaching assistant said, oh, Lynn's in a meeting, but do you want to come in and have a coffee? Yeah, I'll have a coffee, yeah. Do you want a biscuit? Yeah, I'll have a biscuit. She's like, why don't you pick up a penguin? They all knew. They all bloody knew. She does moan a lot. She's not a happy woman. I mean, just give an example. It was her birthday today, and I bought her a spa day. That was wrong. Apparently, she hates grocery shopping. But she was moaning about the fact that we'd been married for so long, and she said, "There's no romance in our relationship anymore." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, maybe on the odd occasion when we're being intimate, it would be nice to have some music playing, just to break the silence." So I thought she's got a fair point. So I recorded a couple of songs. We were getting down to it, put the first song on, Make It With You by Bread. I thought, that'll do, that's probably about right. I've got to be honest, I think my choice of song number 2 killed the mood a little bit, the theme for Match of the Day. I just did it for the rhythm factor. But she said, I think perhaps if we watch something sexy on television, that would help, wouldn't it? And we were watching a film the other night, and it wasn't a sexy film, it was an American crime film about this guy basically trying to smuggle drugs into this prison. And we were sat there watching it, and he was trying to do it by wrapping them in little bits of plastic and shoving them up his arse. And we were sat there watching this film, and she goes, "Oh, that's bloody ridiculous, that is." What? Well, putting those drugs up his arse, because we know how hard it is to get something up there, don't we? And she was at the other end of the settee, and I looked at her and I said, "We do?" And she went, "Oh no, it wasn't you." She moaned there was no surprises in our relationship, and again, being caring, I took that on board. So the other night, she was in the bathroom getting ready, I went into the bedroom, turned all the lights off, lit some candles, hid under the bed, and when she came in, I just grabbed her ankles, and apparently that wasn't the surprise she had in mind. But she did surprise me just before Christmas. She said, "You have remembered picking me up from my work stool tomorrow." That came as a total surprise because she's self-employed and works from home. So no, that's fine, I'll do that. So I was there at the correct time, the correct place. She gets in the car, and all I said was, "Have a nice time?" "Are you saying I'm drunk?" "Oh, don't start." Don't start, but clearly you've had one or two. And then I got the classic. The thing is, I don't think you love me. In fact, I don't think you've ever really loved me. So, well, I do, I have. Obviously no guarantees going forward. She's like, "Well, if you love me, you can get on top of me and prove it." I said, "Sorry?" She said, "You can get on top of me right now and make love to me in this car and prove your love." I said, "That's not going to happen, is it?" She said, "Well, give me one good reason." I said, "I'll do better than that, I'll give you 3. She said, "Go on then." Well, number 1, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Number 2, we're still outside Wetherspoons in the middle of Gloucester. And number 3, we've got your girlfriend Chris in the back of the car because we're giving her a lift home. And she's got a girlfriend, that's fine, I've got no issues with that. That cruise she went on back in April, she went with Chris, they went away for a week, I paid for all of that. 6 nights away, I didn't moan once, I didn't say a word. 6 nights with her girlfriend, fine. I wanted 1 night with my girlfriend to spend that £500 cash prize. The shit I got for that. But we were chatting at Christmas about how this year was going to pan out and my retirement. She said, I think you need to calm down, because you're quite an angry person still, even at your age. You're still quite angry. You need to be a better person. She has got a point, but I don't mind sharing with you, Kidderminster. I've still got issues. But I say issues. Let's call them by their proper name, shall we? Stepchildren. I get obviously some stepchildren in the room. That normally goes down far better, but bollocks here. I do get on with them, but we do clash, and I clash with one more than the other. And she was home at Christmas, and we were just having a general discussion, and I can't even remember what it was about. But in that discussion, I used the term Eskimo. That was like a red rag to a bull. Red rag to a bull. She's like, do you realise how insulting that term is? Well, not really, because it's just a bloody word I've grown up with. That's what we've always called those people. I don't mean any offence by it. So it's very discriminatory. So the trouble is with you, you've never been discriminated against, have you? Sorry? So you've never been discriminated against. I said, I'm fucking ginger. Of course I've been discriminated against. I said, I phoned up for a gig advertised in Bristol earlier on this year. It said, acts wanted, particularly those of LGBT or POC persuasion. And I phoned up, so I'm interested in the gig. They said, are you LGBT? I said, no. They said, are you a POC? I said, I've got to be honest, I don't really know what it means. They said, a person of colour. I went, yes, I am. They said, what colour are you? I said, ginger. And they just put the phone down. But I did suffer, because we've got a fellow ginger here, haven't we? I don't know about you, but I suffered as a young child with the name calling, copper knob, Duracell, ginger nut, you little ginger wanker. And I can remember saying, Dad, just leave it out. I was thinking about my dad the other day, because as a kid growing up, and you older people know this, we used to watch World of Sport on a Saturday, and about 4 o'clock there used to be wrestling on, proper wrestling, not like that American shit. And afterwards, me and Dad, I was probably only about 6, we always used to sort of try and play wrestling afterwards, and I always used to try and pin his shoulders down for the count of 3. And always at the last minute, he always just used to manage to pop one shoulder up. And I think, in a way, what he was trying to do was teach me a life lesson. And that life lesson being, no matter how hard something is, if you keep trying, keep persevering, when you finally manage to achieve your goal, it will feel absolutely brilliant. And he was right, because I can remember the day I finally managed to pin his shoulders down for the count of 3. It was brilliant. You know, all those years of trying, it was just brilliant. I was so elated. To be fair, he was 96 and in a care home. And suffering with brittle bone disease, but shit, a win's a win, isn't it? But it wasn't just my father. My mother was quite vitriolic as well. I can remember coming home January 1963. I was 5, just gone back to school after Christmas, and I came home and said, man, all the other boys in my class were talking about the presents they had on Christmas Day. She was like, and? So I never got any, did I? She said, no, you didn't. And there's a very good reason for that. Said, what is it? I was 5, and she looked me straight in the eye. She said, Santa don't stop for ginger kids. That was hard to take. To be honest, I know, you'll be fine. It was pretty good advice, because I've had 2 ginger kids since then. Never spent a penny on them at Christmas. It's absolutely brilliant. Are you off? Yeah, he's just going to have a little sniff. We might have a dog fight in a minute. I put money on the Patterdale, to be honest. But there we go, we'll just let him. That was alright, wasn't it? They didn't kick off. Oh, look at him. Yeah. Nice to see you. Enjoy your walk. There we go. Just say bye to him. Look at that. He's gone.